Marshall Spalding, thanks so much for coming down to Has-Beens today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
If you could let the folks know at home and on the internet, why are you running for mayor of Eureka?
Well, I'm running for mayor just to increase the quality of life of every citizen who resides in our beautiful city of Eureka. Just to bring wealth, prosperity, just love and peace, and hopefully eliminate crime, and just bring up the quality of life for everyone.
Now, Marshall, you've run for mayor twice before, in 2002, 2006, so what do you think is going to be different for you in this campaign?
Well, we face hard economic times on the national level and the local level, as well as the state. We need to bring in businesses like right away. It's getting kind of late. Our economy is suffering. Sales tax revenue's down. We need to bring in businesses right now, not 5 or 10 years from now. This is not something we need to project in the future. We need to take action now.
You mentioned sales tax. Of course, there's a Measure O on the ballot that would raise Eureka sales tax to be the level it is in Arcata, another whole half point above what it is now. Are you concerned that that's going to really negatively impact the local small businesses?
Yes, I do. We rely a lot on tourism. It brings in tourism dollars, which generates sales tax revenue at local businesses. And if we increase the sales tax, that's going to defeat the purpose of bringing in new businesses to generate sales tax instead of just burdening the people who already live here or the people who visit with just an increased tax. We need to generate new sales tax revenue with new businesses that are being brought into the area. So we need to streamline the permit process and bring them in. That's the one way of getting to it, where we don't burden the people with more taxes. That's not the answer. That's not creating new jobs.
Now, your opponents, they seem to be in favor of the sales tax, not because they're terribly excited about new taxes, but they say the city has to find some way of meeting its structural deficit of over $1 million a year, it's looking like. If you don't want to raise the sales tax, how would you go about either cutting spending or raising other sources of revenue to meet that shortfall?
Well, this is an immediate impact on everyone in the city. We need to streamline the permit process, like I just said. And we need to allow businesses to come in right now. There are a lot of businesses that have lined up, ready to come in, but we're just stalling the permit process at every angle. And there are certain people behind that, and we need to knock that off and just let them come in and get the jobs going immediately, bring in the sales tax revenue from more tourism.
Now, the balloon track, that's a piece of waterfront property that's pretty irreplaceable. Do you think a big box development like that proposed in Arkley's Measure N is the way to go about it, or do you have some alternative in mind?
Well, how long has that been sitting there vacant? For 20, 25 years, and everyone's bickering as far as what we're going to do with it. Everyone has an idea. The businesses who are here, namely Pearson's, they don't want any competition whatsoever, whether it's a Home Depot or any type of business. And I think we need to clean it up, dig down deep in there, just clean it up, get all the toxins out of there, all the toxic waste, and fill it in and start building. Whatever it is we're going to be building there, we need to start doing it now. 20 years from now, it'll be sitting there, just like it is now, vacant. Why? Because people are bickering over it. Who wants to put what there, this and that, the businesses that don't want competition, which again is the Pearsons. There are a lot of businesses up here who do not want competition. Where, they don't want to market their products, they don't want to have competition, which is capitalism. So instead they just block every permit process. They don't want anyone in here. The businesses that are in here now, that were fought tooth and nail to keep them out. But now they're here, people are shopping there, sales tax revenues have increased, everything's fine. But in the beginning there was resistance. Well, we need to knock off that resistance and let them come in, welcome them.
Beyond the balloon track and the permitting process, you've mentioned reforming that. What would you say your most effective means would be, if you were mayor, of creating jobs over the next 4 years for average working folks in Eureka?
I'll work with the county supervisors, work with the city council people, and like I said, streamlining the permit process and allowing businesses to come in here freely to set up shop and generate revenue through increased tourism. We have fishing, we have hunting. I know they've taken a blow. Fishing industry is not what it used to be, the timber industry is not what it used to be, but they're still generating revenue. Not as much as it used to be, but if you get a combination of the whole pie together, working cohesively, you're going to increase sales tax revenue. That generates everything. We don't have to cut anything. We don't have to cut city services, whether it's law enforcement or anything in City Hall, because the sales tax revenue will be up and we'll have more money.
You mentioned law enforcement. What would you say your assessment is of Police Chief Garr Nielsen? He's been on the job about three and a half years now. Do you think he's been effective at reducing crime in the city?
Chief Nielsen has a tough job. Yes, he has. He's been very effective. He's working again with the city council. He's working with the state and the national level as far as the money's coming in. We have a problem with marijuana growing. We have a problem with increased crime coming up from Mexico. Drug cartels have infiltrated the area. And he has done a real good job. He has created programs that have cleaned up the neighborhoods. I mean, I know there are the big drug cartel individuals, or how to say groups, that are operating, and we're just getting like the small guys and everything like that. But that's more on a national level and a state level where we can get the big guys. But it's this continuing thing. It's sad, and if we cut their services, then crime is just going to be rampant, because they will not be able to respond as well, and there'll be 50 criminals to every police officer. Well, that's not how it should be.
And of course, one of the things he's implemented is a increased program for police officers of training and how to deal with mentally ill individuals, so we can avoid the type of situations such as Sherry Moore, the other police shootings that occurred kind of right before Chief Nielsen came in. Do you think that's been a positive move for EPD?
Yes, it has. That's a very touchy situation when you have people who have mental disorders, whether it's schizophrenia or just alcoholism, drug problems, or whatever. It's very touchy. And you have to have people who are well trained to deal with that situation. And if the people are not well trained, you're going to have instances where, shooting is better, but it's not. And, it costs a lot of money to train people. And sure, police officers are multifaceted. They're trained in every aspect to deal with the community and any problem. And the mental health issue is a serious problem that needs to be dealt with. And Chief Nielsen has done a good job in training his officers to deal with that.
You mentioned the homeless being a problem for growing the local tourism industry. Beyond just saying, well, it's the county's problem, the city should be left alone and not have to deal with it, do you think there's a more proactive stance City of Eureka can take in actually providing solutions to the homelessness situation?
Yes, we need to allocate funding for homeless situations, whether it's actually distributing food to our people on the streets. We need to offer them alternative places to actually live. Since they can't afford it, they're in and out of alcohol treatment programs, they have drug problems. It's a continuing problem, and it's not their fault that they are homeless, even though a lot of people think that it is because they just don't want to work. They've had many problems in their life as to why they've all of a sudden hit the streets, whether it's through divorce, whether it's through death in the family, whether it's through hopelessness, and there are many things we can do as a city to help them. And the basic thing that we should do, and Betty Chin does that all the time, is we should go out there and don't be afraid of them, just meet them and give them food. Buy them things and help them out and tell them that there are social programs that are out there that will help them, facilitate the process, and that will get them off the streets. But we need to become friends with them, not enemies, like they're bad people. Just send them to another city. We can't do that. They're part of our population, and we need to help them.
Eureka City Council did just adopt a medical cannabis dispensary ordinance that, at least on paper, looks more liberal than Arcata's. It allows over double the number of actual pot clubs, pot dispensaries within the city of Eureka. Do you think that was a good move on the part of the City Council to go ahead and provide for regulated pot clubs to open up in Eureka?
Yes, I do. There is that aspect of our population that has severe medical needs, and it has been proven through scientific tests that marijuana does alleviate their pain. But it just can't be widespread where everyone's just out there smoking. Oh, I have a medical issue and I'm in pain, I need to smoke. It has to be regulated. That's all I have to say. The City of Eureka, they did a real good job in doing that. And that's the continuing effort by regulating it. Because there are legitimate medical needs out there that marijuana will address. But we have to regulate it, so not everyone could just be out there smoking with that excuse.
Speaking of smoking, Eureka also just passed a rather draconian smoking ordinance, which would mandate $100 tickets to any smokers who are within 30 feet of any multi-family residence or at any park, any farmers markets, any bus stop, really almost anywhere in public in the city of Eureka. Do you think the police have better things to do than run around handing out smoking tickets, or is this really just a way for the city to generate revenue?
Well, it's not going to be enforced by the police department. It's going to be enforced through self-discipline. You know, I mean, a business owner is not going to be calling the police when there are people outside smoking. They just simply go out there and tell them not to smoke. And that's it. The police do have better things to do. There's serious crime in our city, but it's going to be self-policed. That's what it's going to be. And it is good because there's a lot of health issues. If you can cut down on the health problems of our people, you can cut down on the money that is spent for healthcare costs. Yes. But it's not going to like take away from our police department. It's going to, like I said, to be self-regulated. You know, and most people will abide by it.